my name is Burcu Ozturk. Welcome to my channel. To introduce myself a little bit, I've been working in finance sector for over 15 years. Currently, I hold the position of CFO role in one of the largest healthcare operators in Turkey. And before my current role, I used to work as a consultant in the mergers and acquisitions field and also company valuations. And my experience includes both Istanbul and as well as New York offices. So I've seen many entrepreneurs in my experience that grew their businesses very well and could sell their business at very good prices. And also I've seen some examples that could really financially manage their companies in a bad way and went bankrupt. So what I see, one thing common in those entrepreneurs is that most people don't like to talk about finance and accounting. So my purpose throughout these video series is gonna be making people like finance and accounting and not hate it or get irritated by it. So it's gonna be a fun and very simple examples that we will be walking through so that you could really like to talk about it and enjoy analyzing the financial statements. So I've chosen a couple of examples to walk you through, and I think today's most important function a company needs to run is the cash management. That's one of the most essential functions of a business. And if you do it very well, your company goes very well. And if you don't know what's going on in your cash flow, you can never understand if your numbers are going bad or not. So you may ask me a couple of questions on the technical side. So what is cash flow versus what is income statement? I'm sure most of your entrepreneurs, accountants bring them income statement and also cash flows, and you don't maybe even know the difference. So let me tell you in a very simple way what the difference is. So income statement includes all kinds of business volume that you're running at your business, and at the bottom line it shows you if you're making profit or not at the end of the day. And on the other hand, cash flow statement shows you how much cash you have in your wallet and if you're making cash out of this business or not. So the basic difference is that one of them is cash basis and the other one is accrual basis. So today we will be walking through two examples from two different sectors, and you will have a chance to compare and contrast the cash flow statements versus income statements. So let's start with the first example. So once I was selecting this first example, I picked up a shoe store, which I love shoes, by the way, and I think it's one of the most important sectors that financial sustainability should be really important, and all the shoe stores should be really managed well from a cash flow statement perspective. So that's why we'll walk through a new shoe store in our first example. So this store has been opened very recently, and it's a small one, and it's buying its materials or shoes from one distributor. So as we are in finance, let me walk you through a couple of examples here and show you how it works. I brought you a cash flow statement and an income statement. If you look at the numbers here, so let's look at the customer collection terms and vendor payments terms to understand the company's cash cycle. That's the first step you need to do in analysis of your cash flow statements. So if you look at the cash collections here, so every month it has $2,000 of collection, $3,000 of collection. You see that it's growing every month. And because it's the shoe store, all the cash is collected in cash, basically, at the store from the customers. So this assumes that cash collections are made in advance and in cash from the customers. So the biggest point is gonna be the vendor payments and how this company pays its vendors, how the cash cycle works on the procurement side. If you look at the payments, if you look at the inventory, which is the biggest payment item, so this company buys out inventory from one distributor only, and that distributor applies a payment term of 90 days. So this means that if you look at the numbers here, You have cash collection in the first month and no payments, and you have cash collection in the second month and you still didn't need to make any inventory payments, and only third month of operations you need to make payment for the inventory. So that's gonna change the whole business picture and whole cash cycle in managing your cash flow. How much vendor payment terms you have. My point is that if you look at the personnel, rent and energy costs that a store basically has, those types of costs, all three are working from a cash standpoint at the same mechanism. For example, I'm working in the store and I worked throughout the whole January, and in February I will be collecting my paycheck. So this means that as a store cash flow, you collect all your revenues on day 30, but you don't need to make any rent, energy, or any type of other personnel costs on your first month of operations. So let's look at the cash flow here. So you collected everything in advance and you paid out your materials and cost of sales in payment terms or with some maturities. So on the first month of operations, this store owner has a cash of $2,000 because basically she or he didn't need to make any payment. And second month of operations, you see that they have $3,400. And third month of operations, the sales, you need to make the inventory purchase payments and the cash number goes down. But let's assume this company decided to grow or not, or is gonna make a strategic decision on the second month of operations. If you're not looking at your cash flow along with your income statement, this store owner may think that, okay, I have so much money in cash in my wallet and I can open up another store. But is this the real picture, or is this company, this much of cash generating company, is this making so much profit as well? So let's look at the numbers from a net income standpoint. You'll see on day 30, the company made revenues of $2,000, which is basically the cash collection on the cash flow statement. And if you look at the cost of materials, you need to record the cost of goods sold, which is the cost of shoes sold. And you need to make an accrual for the personnel, rent, and energy related payments. This means that even though the store owner had so much cash in hand on the first month of operations, which stood at $2,000, actually on the net profit and loss statement, this company or shoe store made a loss. You see that after including all the cost of materials sold, you have net loss at your bottom line. So this is quite important, and if you look at the whole sales or whole business volume operations of this company, it only made at the end of the day $200. But if you just look at on a specific date at your cash in the company's deposit, then you might assume that this company is doing very, very well, because you see that there is $3,000 and $2,000 in the company's cash deposit. So this is one of the basic mistakes or basic misunderstandings that most of the entrepreneurs make. You just look at either a cash flow statement, or you just look at either solely at your income statement. Once you look at your income statement, this company is almost break-even and not making a great job in terms of profit generation. But if you look at the cash flow statement, because there is a big mismatch between the collections, advance collections from the customers versus the payments made to suppliers on a due date, then this company owner may assume that there is so much cash surplus in their business and they are doing very well. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but most of the companies or small retail companies go bankrupt by not analyzing their income statements as well as cash flow statements together. They just look at what they have in cash and they assume that they're doing a great job. And this example is a business or company that operates on a cash surplus basis. So now let's look at another example. which is basically a company that needs cash injection. But this time the company is quite profitable, but from a cash flow management or cash flow cycle, this company needs cash injection. So it's the other way around in comparison to the shoe store, but let's look at how the company owner manages the business. So I picked up a company in consultancy business. It's an IT consultancy business basically. And these days, because we are in pandemic stage, most of the IT companies are doing very well. And I just wanted to walk through an example from this favorite sector or a sector that is in the top agenda these days. So this company is a small one, an IT company, works on a project basis. And the company owner recently got a new project, and this new project has a total size of $10,000. And the company recruited 5 people to finish up this project. So let's look at the cash flow statements and cash flow cycle. So the customer collection will be made at the beginning of the project only by 10%. So the customer said that, okay, I will give you an advance amount of $1,000 only on the day 1 of the project as an advance. And up until day 90, which is the 3rd month of operations, the client rejected to make any payments and said that, okay, on day 90, 3rd month of operations, I can only pay you 20% of the project. And once the project is completely signed off and finished, then the whole 70% will be paid. So from this example, the cash flow is really bumpy. There is almost no cash flow at the beginning, and there is a huge cash collection at the end of the project. So let's see how the entrepreneur or IT company owner manages the cash in this type of collection cycle. So you need to make personnel payments on the 2nd month after recruiting the personnel, as we had in the previous example. So if I worked on January, the full month of January, then the paycheck is paid at the beginning of February. That's why if you look at the day 30, there is only advance collection, and there is no need for payment of any type of costs like rent and energy or personnel. Those types of costs are paid at the subsequent month, right after consumption. So if you look at day 60, this owner of the company needs to pay personnel, rent and energy cost, which is around $2,450 per month. 2nd month of operations, there is a minimal cash collection, which is 20% of the total size. And again, the owner needs to make all kinds of operational expenses. If you look at the cash cycle, you'll see that at day 90, this company owner even needs to make a cash payment of $1,900 at the 3rd month of operations. So this company owner may think that, okay, I'm burning so much cash, but is this a profitable project, and am I doing right or wrong? Because you need to put capital injection to the company for almost 3 months, and you may think that you're not making any money. But if you look at the profitability of this company, because this is a 3 months worth of project, every month you need to have 1 month of project size revenue accrual. So every month you have around $3,000 worth of revenue, and you have your cost. If you look at the net income and loss statement, every month actually you're making a good chunk of net profit at the bottom line. But the cash collection, and if you look at the total size of the project, so this is a $10,000 project, and at the bottom line, the business owner makes around $2,600 worth of dollars of project at the bottom line as a profit. But if you look at the cash flow, this company can only get cash at the end of the project, once the project is signed off. So during the month 2 and 3, the company owner may think that, okay, what's happening here? I need to find money to pay the personnel and rent and other costs. But on the other hand, at the end of the project, the company owner has profit at the bottom line. So we've gone through two examples. One of them is a business that is not profitable but generating a lot of cash during the operations. And while if you just look at the cash flow statements and if you just look at the cash at the deposit, you may think that, okay, this company is doing a great job, the shoe store. But on the other hand, at the bottom line, there is no profit. If you look at the second example, because the cash collection has a maturity date and cash is collected at the end of the project, this IT company needs capital injection during running the business. On the other hand, if you look at the bottom line, once the project is completed, then you will have a good chunk of profit out of this project. So again, cash flow statement and income statements are two separate things, but they definitely need to be analyzed together. And depending on the company's cash collection and vendor payment cycles, these companies, even though profitable, may need some cash injection during running the operations. And some companies that are not that profitable may not need any cash injection due to the fact that cash is collected in advance. On the other hand, vendor payments are made in vendor maturity dates. So I just wanted to give you two quick and simple examples and talk you through how the businesses are operated from a cash flow management perspective. I hope you find it useful, and I hope to see you within the following finance related series in the next couple of months. Thank you for listening.